What is up, everybody? Welcome into Derelict Sports. It's your boy Nick alongside Derelict Dale. Hope you guys are having a great week. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and hit that like button, hit that bell so you guys get notified when we go live. If you're on X, make sure you guys give us a follow, share the stream, and give us a follow on X. We are talking lots of shit always on X. Nice and active over there. So make sure you guys give us a follow over there. Happy fucking Juneteenth to everybody out there. I'm glad that you don't know that? Juneteenth, dude. It's the day the slaves were freed.
Oh, okay,
So
cool.
so it is now a federal holiday here in the United States, which is good. I
No
love
ways.
that. Absolutely.
That's outstanding.
I fucking love it. So, not only does that cocksucking Christopher Columbus get his day, uh, just a
Wow,
piece of shit,
I
but
never thought of it that way. Wow, yeah.
yeah, fuck Christopher Columbus, aka I call it Indigenous People Day because fuck Christopher Columbus. But yeah, the Juneteenth is something in the last couple of years has kind of made a comeback, and federal holiday now. So most bank no mail today, no trash, no most jobs were closed, not mine. So I had to work on Juneteenth with my two black coworkers. It was us three
Yeah.
there. They asked me they asked me Wednesday. They're like, "Yo, we off tomorrow?" I was like, "No." I was like, "I wish, dude. Trust me." I was like, "I fucking wish." So they rolled in this morning, both hung over because they partied for Juneteenth last night. And I hope they have a great Juneteenth today. So happy Juneteenth, everybody out there. Also, non-sports related, just going to touch on this for 4 seconds. Shout out to Karen Reed. Let's fucking go. Not guilty. Fuck the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you dirty cocksuckers. You tried and you failed. So love that. Shout out to Karen Reed. Not guilty. She only gonna do the OUI. Who gives a shit? So shout out to that. But anyway, we'll get to sports now. Make sure you guys hit that follow button down below. Hit that notification if you're on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button. And at the very least, if you're on YouTube, just hit the like button. It really helps the stream, and we'd really appreciate it. If you're on X, make sure you guys follow the page, share the stream, tell your friends about us, whatever. Hop in the comments. We're always talking shit. But yeah, hope you guys are having a good week. It's Thursday, June 19th. How are you doing today, Dale? How have you been since the last time I saw your pretty face Tuesday?
I acknowledge that you send me stats and we are back on friends terms. There was a
Yes, dude. That's what I'm saying. Because look,
tension.
I don't want to hate Nelson. I don't even know him. Okay. I don't even know him, but I don't want to fucking despise this guy. Okay. You need to share the love when it comes to stats.
No.
I know that he's been giving you stats a lot longer. But brother, I am coming with has Nelson told you that stat yet?
No, the only
hasn't told you that, huh?
It was like, that is a fucking random stat.
What a weird stat. And for everybody watching, if you guys didn't know, Seth Jones, who just won, I believe he was there last year too. I don't know if he was there last year, but either way, he's either got one and or now two Stanley Cup. No, he couldn't have because this stat would have came out last year. So, no, he wasn't there last year. So I believe he might have been Columbus still last year. Maybe. Chicago. Seth Jones was in Chicago. Yeah. Good call on that. So anyway, first ever Stanley Cup winner with the first name Seth. So I thought that was interesting. Very random.
Also, it's always random when you say that Seth Jones' dad is Popeye Jones. That one always just feels weird.
Yes. And while we're at it, happy Juneteenth to Seth Jones. So shout out to Seth. But anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. I thought that was cool. But yeah, dude. So anyway, how else have you been? My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Oh no, you're good. We are getting like 2 to 5 inches of rain on Saturday, so there's some emergency things that have to get done today and tomorrow. So life at work is going to be quite a bit hectic tomorrow, and we're down 2 bodies for sure tomorrow. So it's gonna be an ugly. The team's gonna put Dale a whole bunch of shit on Dale's shoulders tomorrow. So
you're gonna be Greg Jennings tomorrow, baby. Put the team on your back.
Put the team on my back, yo.
Yes,
with
sir.
A broken leg.
He says Darren Sharper, one of the hardest hitting safeties in the league.
I haven't seen that so long. I'm gonna have to watch that tonight. It's just so bad.
Darren Sharper.
Yeah.
One of the hardest hitting safeties in the league.
So
it's so
stupid,
good.
but it's so good.
It's so fucking good. All right, boys, let's fucking get into it. We got some stories we're going to cover here today. Obviously, the big one with the Genie Bus on the Lakers, 10 Billy. We'll talk about that. We got, obviously, Game 6 of the NBA Finals tonight. OKC is looking to close out the Pacers. We'll see if that happens. Halliburton, what the Halliburton? He is playing today. Got the little ankle sprain. Had him shooting shots earlier. A lot of people are panicking. Well, not a lot of people, but some people on Twitter, because before last game, we talked. I don't know if we talked about it on stream, but we did talk about it yesterday at some point, just amongst ourselves. But Halliburton went like a game and a half without a fucking. I think he missed like the last couple shots in 2 games ago. And then he missed every shot he took last game. Right? Um, no field goals last game. But before the game, last game, they put there was a video of him making like 20 straight shots or something, right?
Of course.
Everybody's like, okay, like what the fuck? So maybe he should have saved a couple of those, right? Well, today after they announced he was playing, they posted a video of him making 15 straight corner threes. So hopefully he cut 5 off those and saved a few for the game.
Yep.
Because they're gonna need it. I mean, look, I think OKC smells blood.
It was.
I think they're
It
the
took.
way they ended that last game
Yeah, yeah. Like,
was like yeah. Oh yeah, we're the best
this.
team in basketball.
This is what the series we thought it was going to be.
Yes. I mean that was it was yeah, it was overwhelming. I mean, it was, no Halliburton was off and stuff like that, but it just seemed they're clicking on all cylinders. Dude, Jalen Williams is a goddamn absolute beast. I mean, what do you think? You think Jalen Williams could be a one on a good amount of teams? Or do you think do you think he is just, because I read something the other day where it was who knows, it was a Bleacher Report thing, but it was like executives around the league think Jalen Williams, and I know it's really says, could have a Scottie Pippen like career.
That's actually a really good comp, I think.
I think
Because
so too. And I'm
I
like, damn. And I'm thinking, okay, I mean, Scotty didn't win, he didn't do bad the year Jordan retired, right? They looked, so I don't know. He is a damn good player though.
he is the perfect piece for that team. That's just you. If you have a team like that, you just need one guy that like is gonna hit the floor. It's gonna go like when you need a rebound, he's somehow gonna go and get in there. Like not make the stupid decision. And then on nights like that where it's going, they're you know, Gillis Alexander is just like, all right, no, let's just feed him the rock. He's got the mojo tonight. I just like
Yeah.
he's just that Scottie Pippen comp is a really good one because I feel like he is a really he would be fine like if he was on the Hornets. Why I always pick the Hornets for a bad team? I'm sorry, Charlotte,
Just
but
makes sense.
it unfortunately really does. But if he would be fine on the Hornets, but I don't think he brings the Hornets into being a playoff team. But you put him with like even if you put him with San Antonio and Wimby in that like he's gonna elevate him and he's just gonna do what he needs to do. Scottie Pippen is a really good reference.
I think so too. I heard that. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, he's young, he's super young. He's one of these Sam Presti draft picks, right? And it's like, if you can keep him and Shai together for a while, and I mean, Chet is obviously a great piece there. But I think a lot of people thought Chet was going to be the 2, right? And the second option, and that is not the case. Jalen Williams. I mean, so here, Jalen Williams the other night in 35 minutes, so he played 3 less minutes than Shai, which I mean, at that point, it's not too much, but 14 to 25, so 25 shots. He took 25 shots, 14 to 25, took 12 free throws, 40 points, plus 14, 40 and 46 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, that's disgusting. And Shai, he takes 21 shots, so he takes 4 less shots than Jalen Williams, 31, 10, and 2. It's like, and honestly, there are 2. Kassan Wallace and Eric Wingas are both in double figures with 14 and 11, but nobody else is in double figures in the entire. And they still won by 11. So it's like, those two guys, if and you're going to have those nights, right? Where, I assume Scotty and Jorah, we know wasn't super alive or around for much of that, but I would assume that there were nights that Scotty outperformed MJ,
Absolutely.
right? Like I would assume that there were Scotty games in the regular season or in the
And MJ
playoffs.
was good enough to know when that night came to like go from me to distributor. And
Right.
I work me like yeah, like that's the other thing too. Like Shea still got his. It wasn't like they forced, like you said, he's got 30 and 10 in 4 less shots. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
that's
that's that's what makes that team dangerous because if you can get that and then you can mix in the Chet game every now and then because he's he's big and he's gonna have a 20 and 18 game mixed in there too. So
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's going to have games. You're going to have games where Dort plays well. I mean, you're going to have games where all these guys kind of play, they got Hartenstein, which has been he's been more of like just a guy in the glass, but he's been a presence. And then, Caruso, who, he only has 2 points, but he plays 29 minutes, and that guy is such a heart and soul of that team. I mean, you can't really. I mean, he wins the bubble championship, right, with LeBron, and like I don't think you can underestimate how big that is. And it's like not only did he win a title, but he won like arguably one of the harder titles to win, right? Where you're like, and I know, like, I don't know what side of the fence you are on this, and I know that you're either on one side, you're either on the that was one of the harder championships to win, or it wasn't. There are people who are like, oh, that's a Disneyland ass championship. They're locked, but I'm like, brother, these guys were locked in a bubble away from everybody that they know, their families, everything. They're locked about all. I mean, I know, all they have is basketball, which I understand, but like, and they're like, no distractions, blah, blah. But I think like for them not to go nuts in that thing and like to keep their composure and to still go out there and win a championship,
mm-hmm.
I think it's arguably one of the hardest championships to win.
And there's no home court. Like every
No
game's a
home
neutral
court, no
court.
crowd.
Yeah, you got to get yourself up every game and just I've never actually thought of that. But yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's a lot. I can see why you would think it wouldn't be, but it's like you're away from your family. You're away from your family for two fucking like it's already sucks that when these guys get in the playoffs, they're 3/4 away from their family because you're basically home for your off day, but you're just in playoff mode. Like you're not a great human being. You're just trying to figure out how to win game 5 or game 6, right? Like you're a dad and you're doing dad stuff, but you're focusing on basketball. And yeah, it's like yeah, when you think that they don't have you had no family there. You're just with the boys, which is either really good or really bad.
Yeah, I mean, and I can imagine too staying in the same place as your opponent, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
coexisting with all these teams you're playing with, which I understand. Like, of course, you're gonna have boys there and you're gonna have friends and stuff, but like, I
Jimmy
mean,
Butler
it's
selling
got to just
coffee.
be a weird fucking situation. And yeah, I mean, again, like you said, it's no home court, no advantage really. I mean, it's just pure basketball. You got two pro teams playing in a gym basically. I mean, it's
Yep.
so, I think that you can't underestimate that, and I think that like the mental aspect of that championship is something that you can't really put any other championship up against. And Caruso was there for that, so I think that I think he is a big driving force. You see it on the court. I mean, you see that guy. He gets on the court, and like he is like the old head there almost. He is kind of like the vet. Is and it's cool to see. I really like Alex Caruso. I always thought that I mean, I can't believe the Bulls. I guess it worked out for both because the Giddler has played very well in Chicago. But I think that I still think they'd have been here without Caruso. Like I still think, um, I think you could bring back Josh Giddey and he would fit just fine again. But because he is such a pass guy who can score, he is a guard, a point guard for sure. But yeah, I think that this last game, game 5, it just looked like they were ready to take over. And I guess what are we about 10 minutes from game 6, probably
Yeah.
game 10,
There's
10,
a
15 minutes.
there's a reason why I'm not betting this game.
Yeah,
My
so I was
gut.
looked at this today and I saw that it was weird because like, well, one of your Canadian books had it at 4.5. I saw,
Ooh.
but
Oh, 4.5. I would have been all over OKC.
so what is the purple and like black looking app.
Sports Interaction. Yeah.
So they had it at 4.5 today. I should have texted you. I should have said something, but I didn't know. I thought maybe you had seen it. 4.5, 6.5 was what it was everywhere else. So FanDuel, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't feel comfortable enough, especially the way that like how even the game was last game, right? And obviously the cover we got. No, they didn't cover last game, right? How did that work? It was 9.
They covered. Yeah,
they did cover.
Because game 4 was the one where they didn't cover. I had the Pacers plus 6.5, and they covered for 47 minutes and 53 seconds of the game.
Yeah.
And the 7 seconds they didn't was when was the end
That's
result.
bullshit, dude.
Oh, there's nothing worse than right bet no money.
That's fucking ass. Yeah, we did plus 9.5 Pacers game 5, and they ended up winning by 11. Because I remember we were the same thing. We were like, it was close all game, and then the fourth quarter, they were just like, oh yeah, we're the Thunder, and just turned it the fuck on. But luckily, they kind of clawed back to get it to 11. So yeah, we barely covered. But yeah, 6.5. I just didn't. I don't know. Like I'm not gonna lie. I can see the Pacers winning this game too. I mean, it's at home, right?
Gun to head. Who would you take? I'm
still going
Pacers.
OKC.
I would take Pacers plus the points and take the buffer. I would.
For spread wise, I think you just meant for game. Yeah, if I had to pick, I'd think I'd go Pacers plus 6.5. But if you're trying to tell me if you think who I think's gonna win, I do think OKC's probably gonna close it out tonight. But no Scott Foster tonight, so the equalizer is not on the court tonight.
There's another one of those crazy stats how he somehow manages to always make
it's almost like hard to like say no. It's hard to deny.
It's just way too much of a coincidence.
And he just happens to be on the games where it matters, right?
Yeah.
But no Scott Foster game 6. So some people say that's the NBA saying, all right, the Thunder got it, right? We're going to let the Thunder have this one. But I don't know. What do you think? Okay, so you said you would take the points. Who do you have winning the game? I know you don't really feel confident either way, but like if you had again, you have to make a choice.
If you made me bet just because I would get I would get like +2 over +200, I would take the Pacers. If it was straight up, it was like you and me were betting $20 straight up, I would take Oklahoma City.
Right now, let me refresh the page, see if it changed. Right now, ESPN Bet has it at -220 OKC, +180.
I would still probably take it. So you Drew Code. Oh, hi Drew Code. Hello.
Yo, what's up, Drew? How you doing, Cody? How you doing, big dog? Thunder close it out. Yeah, dude, I think I agree. I mean, I just think that last game, dude, was so. I mean, again, it just looked like they were like, we're done playing with these guys, right? And then Halliburton's obviously he's banged up. If they get another game where Halliburton scores, obviously if he scores no field goals, they're fucked. But if they need Halliburton to play well, and I think that he is even if he's not playing well, he has to have. You could tell he was hurting last game, right? There was a lot of rubbing of the calf. There was not a lot of swagger with him, right? You could tell he wasn't feeling it. So it was one of those things where, like, even if Halliburton's not going to be out there balling and doing his thing, his like swag really gets everybody believing, right? The confidence and he's wanting the ball and he's getting everybody, and you see, like, I don't know if you've seen, like, after the game or at halftime, they show a lot of these clips where he's talking to teammates and rallying, getting them hyped up. So I think he plays a lot. And I think when he's not feeling it and when he was kind of down, I think it really affects the rest of the team. So I think that if you get a confident Halliburton tonight at home, I mean, they definitely could pull it off, but.
Yeah, it'll be a fun game. I'll put it to you this way, Nick. I hope I'm not watching the CFL tonight. That means that this game is good. I do not want to watch the Alouettes and Elks.
Saskatchewan tonight? The Scatchies aren't playing?
Saskatchewan is tomorrow night in Toronto.
Oh, baby, the Argonauts.
Your Toronto
Oh,
Argonauts.
shit. I might have to try to watch that.
I think it's on CBS Sports. I can't
Dude.
remember if it is or not.
So I use that legal watch that I watch the games legally, right?
Of
And
course.
it sucks that where I go to watch it legally, it always tells me there's too high. Remember, so that place I watch it legal has that thing where if you pay in Bitcoin, which is such bullshit, you know they're overseas. You know it. Okay.
Exactly.
Bitcoin is the only way I can do it. Blow me. So you got to pay in Bitcoin, but you can buy a subscription to this site. And what it does is it gets you to where like if there's like anti-lag on it, right? And if
Okay.
if too many people try watching one stream, right, and it starts bogging down, it kicks out all the non-subscribers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the subscribers have the stream. Bro, I tried to watch Saskatchewan, so I had to watch it on another legal website, which was not nearly as good. But it took me literally the entire game. Too many people are watching it, so that must be like the go-to for the Americans to go watch, or even Canadians to watch CFL, because I couldn't get through to watch Saskatchewan to save my life.
I don't like using this analogy, but Saskatchewan is a lot like the Yankees in the CFL. A lot of people hate Saskatchewan because we are fucking crazy, crazy people that love that stupid game.
What week are we in? 3?
Week 3, yeah. It's Montreal Edmonton tonight. I would take the Alouettes -6.5. Yeah, it's gonna be rainy up in Edmonton. The best team in Edmonton. Take that, Oilers. And then
Fuck Edmonton.
Saskatchewan, Toronto's tomorrow night, and then a doubleheader is Calgary and Ottawa, and that is going to be in the 4 inches of rain. It's going to be a mess in Calgary. And then Winnipeg and BC, 3 weeks into the season, back to back. BC and Winnipeg won by 16 at home on Thursday night last week.
So when do they play? Thursday, Friday?
So once the summer is done, so they're Thursday, Friday, doubleheader Saturday. And then when July rolls around till Labor Day, they'll go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then once Labor Day is after Labor Day weekend, they'll go doubleheader Friday, doubleheader Saturday.
Jesus Christ! So they just play every day?
Well, they just play every Friday, Saturday because
well, until we get to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because then they try and spread it out for the summer.
No shit. Between Monday and Sunday, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if they could.
Yeah, we just got to fit them in sometime this week.
A 9-team league. I've seen teams play on fucking Tuesday. It's like, God,
yeah, 9 teams. Yeah, I always forget there's only 9 teams.
I don't want to talk about. I love this league, but then
all right. Well, yeah. Well, we won't. Let's not. Yeah. We'll move on. We'll not dog the CFL. But exactly. I do have something out of nowhere, right turn that we're gonna take right now. And if Drew Cody's still here, this is something that he might be interested in because he is a Raiders guy. But I just saw this little thing on the side, and I was talking to my couple buddies about this yesterday. Did you see the Henry Ruggs thing?
Yes, you sent it to me. It was very interesting. Like, the dude at least feels remorseful.
Here's my question, though. My question is, he's undoubtedly going to try to make a comeback, 100%. I mean, there's no way. Does he play for the NFL again? Does the team sign him? Do we see Henry Ruggs in the NFL again?
See, this is
and give me one team you could see that signs him. If it's yes, if you say no, then no. But if you think he's going to play here again, give me a team you think would sign Henry Ruggs.
So personally, my heart says no. If there was a team who's a scumball team that's not the Raiders.
Okay, well, don't put it that way because the Browns would sign him. So shut the fuck up.
No. I mean scumball as. Like, I've used Roberto Osuna as an example, and the Astros used when he beat his girlfriend, wife in Toronto, and Toronto released him. The Astros swooped in, and then he won some World Series with him. So I'm trying to think of something like.
I mean, it could be a Mike Vick situation, dude. I mean, Mike Vick went to prison, and I mean, like, I think the problem with a lot of these guys, like Ray Rice and guys that maybe we didn't see play again, like. They didn't really pay a price, right? They just kind of like it
That's a
was
good.
more like a big issue, and like, but there really wasn't like they didn't really pay a penalty for it, right? And I think maybe that is what rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, or maybe that's why he didn't play in the league again, or some of these guys is because they felt like maybe that was the punishment that they deserved. Like, but like you got, I think you got Vic, who, if you would have asked me when Vic went to prison, right, and when all that was going on, is Michael Vick going to play for the league again, let alone win like comeback player of the year? I damn near, I mean, he could have won an MVP those year, that first year back, maybe. I'd have said you're fucking crazy. Um, and he did it. So but Henry Ruggs, obviously, I mean, dogs and people. I mean, if you're a dog guy, obviously some people care more about dogs than people. Maybe I'm even one of those people, but killing a lady in a drunk driving accident, is a little more than dog fighting. And I think maybe with the Vic thing, right? I think Vic, there's no excuse for the dog fighting. There's no excuse for any of the stuff that Michael Vick was doing. But I think that you had to take into account his upbringing. I think you had to understand. What's up, Unders? How you doing, big dog? Good to see you, Ray. Um, I think that there was a little bit of like that taken into like this guy grew up in the ghetto of like where this is in a part of the country where that is pretty normal. The dog fighting this stuff was something that he was just around growing up. It's one of those things where it was so normal to him that I don't know if he grasped how bad it was, right? I don't think
Yeah.
in his mind, this is just something that we do, right? And I just think that I put my resume to being Genie Bus pool boy today, hoping to massage my way to 100K. Baby, let's go. And if you do it, dude, I'll massage you when you're done massaging her for like 40K. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I'll massage everything for 65K. But straight up, dude, like we were talking about, we'll get to Genie Bus here in a minute. But
It's an interesting. I never thought of it that way. That Michael Vick paid his debt to society, and Ruggs will pay his debt to society as well.
Ruggs
That
will, and that's what I'm saying. Like, but
yeah.
but just to finish off that thought, just 2 seconds ago, was I think there is no excuse for what Michael Vick did, but I do think that when you look at what he was I think you can, when you look at it and you go and you hear his side of it, and you hear like the other people saying like this is why type of thing. I was like, I think that, but there's no part of the country, or there's no group of people, or there's no part where drunk driving and killing people is like okay, right? There's no like part of the country where that's
Correct.
accepted, and it's so I think that maybe universally his is a little worse.
Yeah. No. That's. There's definitely that too. I think that's an interesting thought that he's paid his debt. So if
I think he
we're
is. I think we're gonna see him. I do. I think he's young enough. I think what is he gonna be? I mean, he got, how many years is he in the league? Not many.
no, he didn't even. He got drafted and then did it. He didn't even play. Correct.
No, I think he played. Yeah, he played.
Okay. Maybe I'm thinking.
He's
Oh, he's
20. He turned 26 in January.
It's
So
just
you got to
yeah.
think he beat 26, 27. I mean, he would have to. Okay, well, here, Henry Ruggs announced his decision on NFL career after leaving prison.
Do you think he has to do a year in like the UFL?
So he says, one, I wish I could turn back the hands of time. I'd love for them to meet the real Henry Ruggs, not the one that was escaping from something. So after his speech, he was asked if he intended on returning to the NFL in the event that he gets out. Ruggs responded with a pretty resounding yes. Yes, I would love to play again. I'm in this newfound spiritual space, and I'm confident in who I am and what I can do. When the time comes, I'm sure I'll be ready. Raiders said he'd be open to joining the Raiders again. Ruggs said he'd be open to join the Raiders again. Why would I not? I don't feel like I ended on terms that are meaningful to me and my core values. I'd love to play again. I was the first ever pick in Las Vegas. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if Vegas is going to bring him back, but I could see it. I really think I could see it. I think I would not be shocked to see Henry Ruggs playing in the league again.
You have me much higher on the yes than before. You have made me think. Good job.
Hell yeah. Well, good going, Ruggs. Happy you're doing your time and doing it like you should, and you're out here doing speeches and shit. So love that. All right. Well, let's get to the Genie Bus. Let's get to the Lakeys. Let me refresh this real quick. 1-0 in the top of the fourth. So Baltimore and Tampa Bay need to get to scoring.
Yeah, after last night,
Jesus. Well, yeah, I almost think you should have went under just because of last night. That the Baltimore Orioles scored a month worth of runs last night.
they scored 8 in the second. It was 8-0. By the end of the fifth, it was 8-8. It was like, ugh.
And then they lost like
They
12-8 or something.
Yeah, 12-8, 12-9, something like that. Yeah. Yuck.
All right, let's get to the Lakers. So before I get into this article that I've got pulled up here, which is breaking down the deal, what are your initial thoughts on this? When you read this, Jeannie Buss selling her stakes, right? Buss will retain a minority. So she's retaining about 15% for a period of time, but everything else she's selling. 10 billion. What's his name? Mark Walter, the guy who owns the Dodgers. He is the guy buying it. What do you think about this? It's the most expensive U.S. sport team valuation in history.
That's the fascinating part to me, that this is arguably one of the 5 to 6 biggest sports brands in North America, and they're worth $10 billion, which makes you so, because like if the big brands would be Dodgers, Yankees, I'll say the Leafs for hockey. I don't know who you would call the biggest brand in the NFL, but that's $10 billion, and
Cowboys probably.
Cowboys, yeah, that's probably your top one for the NFL. If the Lakers are worth $10 billion, how excited? God, I'm going to use the Charlotte Hornets again. How excited are you to be the owner of the Charlotte Hornets and now just watch your franchise almost jump $1 billion in theoretical value, just because the Lakers sold theirs for $10 billion.
So if she's minority, she can still throw LeBron. Oh yeah, dude. Like I said, she's definitely getting real comfy with this roster after the sale. Don't you worry. Let LeBron sit next to her on this International Women's Day, and yeah, it's happening. So Jerry Buss, did you see what he bought it for in '79?
I remember seeing it, but I can't remember what the number was, but I did see it. It was something like tiny.
$67.5 million. Well, and that's something crazy too. How crazy is it that the Celtics and the Lakers? Well, one, how crazy is that the Lakers were sold? How crazy is it the Celtics were sold? How fucking crazy is it they were sold in the same year?
Yeah, wow.
That's crazy. The Celtics and the two most winning teams in NBA history with 18 and 17 championships sold in the same year.
And
that's fucking crazy.
And when did Jerry buy that team? Like
79.
God, so it's been in the family for 45 years. Wow.
I mean, are you shocked by this? Like, were you shocked to see Jeannie Buss giving up her stocks, or no?
Not over. I can understand once it passed away and you hang on for a bit, and then it's just kind of like, if you don't want it, then you might.
Because he was dead for the bubble, right?
If he wasn't, it wasn't much past the bubble.
Yeah. So I mean, even so, if he was gone, she gets she won a belt or championship. It's held on for a couple years. So $6.1 billion for the Celtics. Yeah, I mean that's just got to make Jeannie Buss feel even better that she was able to top them, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Wow, that's wild.
And Mark Walter, I mean, like I said, guy that owns the Dodgers. I mean, this guy's big dick. I got a friend of mine that actually works for his company. Guggenheim is what he owns, located in Chicago. And she works in the Chicago office, friend of Shannon and I. And, so she gets a bunch of shit. She was pretty stoked that they bought him, and pretty cool. I mean, must be fun to be worth that much money. But that's a... and he was already the minority owner, so it's not like he's like not, he's not coming into this brand new. He's already been a minority owner. He's just kind of taking the rest.
Yeah. I love it that it's 148% on investment in 1979 money. Like that's the other part you have to think of. What a dollar was worth in 1979 is not what a dollar is worth in 2025.
Dude.
That's wild. Like 67 million back then, it was an astronomical number.
And last year, Forbes valued the Lakers at 7.
That's what I was gonna ask if you knew if you'd heard what they were valued at.
So Lakers, as of last year, they were 3rd. They had the Knicks and Golden State above them.
Interesting.
I can see the Knicks. I don't know
Knicks
about Golden State.
sense.
Golden State doesn't make. Jerry Buss initial investment multiplied by 148 times. Yeah, that's fucking crazy. Finals to watch here in America. Peace out, boys. Tanner, you'll be back, dude. By the way, Tanner, love you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Hope you shared the stream on Twitter. Before you leave, please like the stream on. If you're on YouTube, please like the stream on YouTube. Really helps us.
The YouTube.
Man, it'd be really cool to see some other collab guys in here. They don't give a shit about us. You guys need to start coming on the show. We need to start having like conversations with you boys. Like, come on, we'll talk basketball or whatever you guys want to. You guys give me a topic you guys want to come on and chat, and we'll bring you on for it. But you give me the topic.
Remember that Green 20 guy? That's kind of how those.
Yeah, dude. Green 20 was just a little virgin in the chat for a while too. Now, dude, the guy is swimming in pussy. Just shake your fucking head, dude.
Figuratively, yes.
There's so much pussy in Canada. I mean, he has to walk around with an umbrella on 92-degree days, not for the shade, for the. Yeah, I mean, it's moist. All right, well, let's read a little bit of this. All right, so it says the Buss architect of 11 NBA championships, poised to relinquish their 4-decade reign over the LA Lakers, with ESPN reporting they're entering agreement to sell a majority stake in basketball's most glamorous franchise. The following is the breakdown of the deal, all right? What is at stake? What's at stake? Lakers minority Mike Walter is set to take majority ownership in a deal valuing the Lakers at about $10 billion, making it the most expensive U.S. sports team valuation in the history of the United States. The deal will end family control of the Lakers, so that is pretty much, I mean, I had the finals on the background on mute, Tanner. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, come on, Tanner.
Nerd.
You're gonna be there for the fourth quarter. We're not gonna.
You nerd, dude. You're on the West Coast, nerd. Then again, you do root for the Kentucky Reds, so it does make sense. So anyway, Buss family retained a minority share of just over 15% for a period of time. So I assume it says for a period of time. So I would assume that there is a expiration date on that. So I would assume, I don't know what happens. I would be interested to know if after a period of time, if the 15% goes to Mark Walter or if the 15% goes up for sale. I think that would be interesting. I guess maybe that's a decision. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a decision they make when the time comes, but it does seem that somewhat of that is written into the deal if it's saying that it's just for a period of time. So that must expire.
And you would assume that Walter would have the first shot at it. I would
right.
Assume.
Yeah, I would assume so. If he already, like I said, if he already doesn't just automatically transfer to him at that point, like it could just be one of those. We don't, the Busses don't want to just straight up cut out of the Lakers immediately, right? Especially they just got Luka Doncic. Shit's getting exciting over there. Let's maybe not just fucking wash our hands of the Lakers. Let's stick around for a while, see what happens. And then when LeBron's gone, maybe they just ride off into the sunset. But all right, so ESPN reported bringing into a close stewardship of a franchise that became synonymous with Hollywood allure and championship excellence. Reuters could not immediately ascertain what Walter's new stake in the team would be. He purchased a minority stake in the Lakers with Todd Boehly in 2021. Don't know who that is. Previous record for biggest sports deal was the Boston Celtics. So not they love that. They love that. I mean, not only did she just make $10 billion, but she just blew past them by $4 billion. She basically, she three-fourths them. I mean, almost doubled the money that they got. Not quite, but so so that was in March. I mean, think about that. In 3 months, we've seen the two most winning NBA teams in the world. Well, I guess of course in the world, but in the country, sold, right? To $6 and $10 billion. I mean, breaking each other's records for biggest sports deal, and I mean that's big. Before I go any further, I would like to ask you the question: are these teams being sold? These teams being sold like this, is it do you think it has anything to do with this fall that the NBA is having? Like, do you think because you're
Ooh.
seeing viewership, you're seeing all these things go down, and people are always like, "Oh, the NBA is dying," right? You keep hearing it. Do you think this is these guys going, all right, we're probably in 5 years from now, we're not getting 6 billion. 5 years from now, we might not get 10 billion. Like, is this them being like, let's get the fuck out of here now? Like, they see the tide turning a little bit?
Possibly. I've never thought of it that. But in the other, playing the other side, why would I be paying $10 billion if I think that things are going
Exactly.
down?
That was the other side of the coin, right? Is Mark Walters, probably no idiot, clearly,
Hmm.
probably not going, oh, they're just trying to sell me a dying ass franchise or a popular franchise in a dying sport. No, thank you. But he said, no, I'll give you 10 billion. We're going to go 3 million over what you were valued last year.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
no, exactly. I
or 3 billion.
it would be maybe there might be some of that if you're the Bush family just because you've been in it for so long and maybe you start feeling that. Like I don't think that you would like yeah, I don't know. That's a really interesting it's a really interesting thought. I never thought of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just something I was thinking about today when I was like, you hear a lot of that, and I'm like, and again, I find it so fascinating. I don't know if anybody else is finding it as fascinating as I do, but the Celtics and the Lakers were sold in March and June of the same year. Like, that's fucking crazy. That's crazy. I mean, like, what are the odds of that? I mean, how long were the Celtics owned by whoever? You know what I'm saying? Probably
Yeah,
same amount
forever.
of time, damn near, right? So it's like, I don't know. I maybe it is a coincidence, maybe it's not, but the fact that like literally the top two guys were like, get us out. But again, like you said, there are other smart guys who do business for a living who came in and bought these teams.
Yep.
So who knows? 2 minutes in the game, Tyrese Halliburton is grimacing a little bit. Cap's bothering him, but he ain't hobbled. What are we looking like score wise? 4-2. Motherfucking homies, little dogs of mine, dogging my homies. I saw an Instagram video with a ICP song on it the other day, and I can't really stand ICP, but there's this one song and I like by them, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
song. Now it's been stuck in my head for like 5 days. So 6-2. We'll keep an eye on this. What the hell, Burton? He's got 1 point, so he's already missed 3 shots. He's 0 for 3, 0 for 1 from 3, so that's got to be a. And I assume he's missed a fucking free throw at this point too already. So not good. Not good. All right,
Lost
before we
time.
get back to this, let's see. 1-1. Baltimore scored, but we are now in the 5th.
All right.
Ugh. All
Bullpen
right, who
started
are the
blowing.
Lakers? Lakers, the most storied franchise in NBA history, valued at 7.1 by the Forbes last year. Like we said, second most, successful NBA team. We've already said that, so maybe I don't need to read. Okay, so here we go. Jerry Buss bought the Lakers $67.5 million in 1979, transformed them into one of the most well-known franchises in professional sports. Team won 5 championships during the celebrated Showtime era in the 80s, which we all know, of course. Lakers have LeBron James, the biggest star in the NBA. They also snapped him up. Slovenian superstar Luka Doncic in a high-profile trade. Who is Mark Walter? Mark Walter is a 65-year-old American billionaire, businessman who is a CEO and chairman of company TWG Global. He is also CEO of investment of Guggenheim, like I said a minute ago, Guggenheim Partners. Walter, whose net worth is listed as $6.1 billion, has owned. I mean, so what does he get? Loaned the rest of this?
Yeah, they're he probably got other people and yeah. So
Imagine buying a team for $4 billion more than what you're worth.
yeah, it's kind of wild when you think about it.
I mean, fuck, I could have bought the Lakers. If that was the point. If they're just giving out loans, I'd have bought the Lakers.
He wouldn't have been a good owner for the Lakers.
So he's owned the Dodgers since 2012. So the Dodgers have always been pretty good, right? But they had their time of not being good. But since the turn of the Dodgers, he has owned them. So he is pretty much to thank for everything that you've seen the last. He's to thank for what we're seeing in the deferment in payments in the MLB right now. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
So he is adding the Lakers to a sporting portfolio that includes stakes in the Cadillac Formula One team, which, if you guys haven't known, Cadillac will be the new Formula One team, I believe, starting next year, the new American team. WNBA, so he owns the Sparks, and he actually owns Chelsea, part of Chelsea. Shout out Big Perk. He would love that. Buss family's 66% stake in the Lakers was passed on to his 6 children via a family trust after his death in 2013. Buss died at the age of, so he died in 2013. So he definitely wasn't alive for the goddamn. He's been dead 12 years. He died at 80 due to kidney failure. Daughter Jeannie took over as principal owner after his death. Is set to continue as team governor, maintaining a family connection on the purple and gold empire her father built. So she will stick around as governor. And then it just gets into other big deals. So it says, when is the league expected to approve and finalize the Lakers sale? Final approval of the sale could take several months. Celtics sale is yet. So the Celtics deal, which we just talked about in March, it still has not received final approval from the NBA Board of Governors. So obviously they more than likely is going to, right? But clearly there's a process here. And the Boston Celtics are still going through that process. Board is scheduled to meet in July in Vegas, though that session is expected to focus primarily on potential league expansion plans. So they might not even discuss it in July either. So, this is pretty.
The NBA wants to expand?
I guess.
Really?
I mean, Seattle needs a team.
I get the NHL.
Maybe not if they're dying, if the NBA is dying, but
true. The NHL has also proved that you could do 4 conferences of 8 and do 32 and make it work. And it's pretty easy to put Seattle and somebody else. Yeah.
Right in time too. We got Sweet Dick just entered the room.
What's up, boys?
Hey, Sweet Dick.
Not much, dude. We just right on time, actually, because we were talking about the main story of the show.
Hell yeah. Good topic, boys. Well, don't let me interrupt. Please continue.
No, we just got done reading this fascinating article, just breaking down the deal. So we're kind of just giving thoughts about the deal now. And what do you? I mean, I'm sure you have thoughts on this. I mean, we've kind of covered most of it, but what do you think of old Jeannie Buss selling? Okay, actually, I can ask you. So, give me your thoughts on the sale. She's. I don't know if you've read throughout all the details, but she is basically selling all but 15% of her shares to Mark Walter, the guy that owns the Dodgers.
Right. Yeah, I saw that.
$10 billion. She's going to stick around as the governor of the team, so she'll still be there. Like I said, she's owning 15% for a period of time, is what it says. So I want your thoughts on the deal and like how crazy it is that we just saw a team sold for $10 billion. Last year, Forbes only had them valued at $7 billion. So they got somehow in a year they've gone up $3 billion. I'm sure Luka has something to do with that and some other things they're looking for the future. But so they get that the $3 billion or $3 billion more than what they're worth, and they just beat the Celtics were sold in March for $6 billion, which at the time was the biggest sports sale in the history of North America, or maybe even just professional sports here. Just got passed, obviously, $10 billion. So that's another story. The Lakers beat out the fucking Celtics in that aspect, just in one more aspect, right? But my second question part of this is that I asked Dale this. Do you think that, because how fucking crazy is it? I can't get over the fact that the Celtics were traded in March and the Lakers are traded in June. So we've now seen the two most winning NBA teams in the history of basketball, and now the two biggest sold teams in sports history, and they happened in the same year within like a 3-month period, which is so fucking crazy to me. And that gets me thinking, all we ever hear about is the NBA dying right now. So are these people jumping ship right now because maybe these teams are as right now? Maybe 5 years down the line, you're not going to get $10 billion for the Lakers. You're not going to get $6 billion for the Celtics. But on the other hand, like Dale said, why would guys that are, Mark Walton, who is obviously not a fucking idiot, why would he come in and pay $10 billion? A guy whose net worth is only $6 billion. He's only worth 6. So somehow he's got $10 billion to buy the Lakers. Why would he do this if I'm sure he would, if he thought Jeannie Buss was just trying to sell him a dying franchise or a big franchise in a dying sport, he would be like, no. So do you think there's correlation there with that?
Yeah, I mean that's a really good question. I'm gonna while I formulate a thought on that, I'm gonna step back and thank Jeannie for her time in the league and all that her family did.
Hey, happy International Women's Day whenever that comes to, Jeannie, just in case.
Yeah, definitely, right. Oh, and happy Juneteenth, everybody.
Happy
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. Yes, sir. We are.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We
Canadian
had that
boy
at the
learned what
beginning.
it was today. I learned.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Dale didn't know what Juneteenth was, so we're doing our part.
Hey, one step at a time,
One step at a time.
But yeah, no, the Buss family, I mean, they literally have, I mean, I know that the Lakers TV show was not about them, but it was kind of about them. You know what I'm saying? It
Oh, yeah.
truly, the Busses ran that show, gave it a lot of its life, outside of the main players that you would think of, and really defined that era of basketball. I mean, it's hard to say that there's been a more impactful owner on a game other than probably Jerry Buss. I mean, maybe that's a bit of an overstatement, but he's definitely up there.
Oh, yeah.
I think on anybody's list of all time owners that had an impact on their sport, he definitely deserves an honorary mention at the very least. Sad day, I think Jeannie made the right decision. She's obviously getting a fat paycheck, which is nice, right? I mean, that's good.
$10 billion, and you get to stay the governor.
Yeah,
Like,
right. She still get to do what she wants to do.
oh, I get 15% still, which is I can only imagine what's 15% of whatever they're worth. 10 billion. It's like
Right. Right. And like her day to day probably doesn't change. You know what I'm saying? The names in the paper change, but she's probably going to continue to go into the office and, if she wants and still operate and do whatever she sees fit. As far as do I think this was, man, that is a tough question to answer. I really think that it might just be timing. I know that they say the NBA is dying, but and the people that invested in these teams are certainly good sports people. So there is some truth behind thinking that, well, maybe they know something that the rest of us don't.
right.
The people that are selling these teams, though, like at least in the Buss and the Lakers situation, they had just run their course. You know what I'm saying? They had, owned it and ran it for what is that, 4 decades, right? 40 years almost, something
79.
like that.
He bought him in 79 for $67.5 million. I think
Right.
earlier Under said he multiplied his investment by 148 times.
That's wild. Absolutely wild. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, I see that. Thank you. We take the under. I mean, yeah, so like at least in this instance, I think it's just time. They had run their course and owned the time. But the Celtics are a little bit different of a story. I mean, I think you go either way. I personally don't think the NBA is dying. I think as combat sports continue to decline in popularity, things like basketball and soccer are going to continue to get more popular. Obviously, viewership numbers right now are not good, but we're talking like 10 to 20-year plans here, not 3 to 5, even 1 to 2 years. I mean,
I agree
if
with
you had a
on that.
kid
I
right
don't know
now,
if I believe that it's like I don't know if I'm 100% on the side that NBA is dying either. So I
yeah, like viewership numbers are down, sure, but again, that's that's local. That's a very small sample size. I think if you look in the history of basketball, it's doing quite well, and kids are playing it all the time. It's a popular game to pick up. It's an easy game to pick up.
Dude,
In terms
the
of
less people that want their kids to play like football and stuff like that, like they're gonna get into sports like basketball.
that's what I mean. So like basketball is not dying, NBA is not dying. I think it's just it's just one of those times. It's a turning of the guard is really what this is, gentlemen. Turning of the guard.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that makes a lot of sense too. Like I said, obviously, I think any of them makes sense. I think that obviously we don't know, but yeah, I think that is probably more likely than anything. That I mean, she's owned them since the Buss family's been around since '79. She's getting a little bit older. And she's probably wants to do something else besides just. I mean, like you said, the day to day probably doesn't change, but let somebody else handle all this other shit. I can just come in, do my job, do my thing, and not really have to be the forefront of everything anymore. And yeah, I mean, with the late, the Celtics is a little, who knows with the Celtics, but yeah, I think it was just more a fact that it's just like, how crazy was it that in March we get one, in June in the other. So I think it's just like,
Yeah.
like what is the fucking chances of it's crazy that like to even have a conversation about the Celtics being sold, and then it's even crazy to have one about the Lakers separately. And then when you hear so we were just talking right before you got on here. So this still has to go through. There's going to be like a couple months worth of it goes through a board. It has to be approved. The sale, all this shit. The Celtics sale is still actually has not actually been approved yet by the board of governor or whatever the
That's
NBA
interesting.
board. So so clearly this takes a few months, right? This is gonna it's a process.
Yeah. You can't just sell $10 billion worth of something overnight. I mean,
Right. But
even
I'm
if
just
this
like,
was a
man,
stock market, you couldn't do
that's
that.
great. Like the Celtics deal isn't even finalized, and the Lakers are selling.
Yeah.
So it's like that's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, and really, like, if you're short-minded and you're thinking about it, I can see why people are saying the basketball is dying. You have the two, questionably biggest franchises in NBA history getting sold within a year. I mean,
Well, and I
that's
agree.
like,
And to Dale's point when he was like, why would these guys even go spend money? Like Mark Walter, again, he's no idiot. The guy runs all these CEOs of all these businesses. He owning the Dodgers, and look what the fuck he's done with the Dodgers since 2013, whatever, when he bought him.
yeah, they're doing all right.
He's not going, like, if Jeannie Buss was like, oh, we're going to go sell to Mark Walter, we're going to pull a fast one on Mark Walters. The Lakers are popular, but the NBA is dying. Let's dump this. Like, I think Mark Walters would probably be like, hold the fucking phone, right? Like, I'm not paying you $10 billion for something that's going to fall off a cliff. So but I think too that, like, I think that teams being sold for $6 billion, again, that should just, no league that's dying has teams being sold for $10 billion and $6 billion. So all of them make sense a little bit, right? And I think some maybe make more sense than the other. But I'm like, damn, it's just an interesting conversation. It's an interesting.
Oh, it definitely is, and you can see both arguments, I think, and it just depends on how you look at it.
And
and this year they'd be right.
I like what he's saying too, the European markets, because that's the other thing. Like, I do think that, like, basketball with things like the G League, like, I think basketball, is it going through a rough time maybe with, like, okay, well, I don't even know if it's going through a rough time. I think people are having a hard time adjusting to new stars, right? Like, it's the guard is changing. All of the guys that we love are starting to get a little bit older, and now you're like, oh, SGA and Tyrese Halliburton, who the fuck are these guys, right? And are like, why are we watching these? But I think that'll change. Like, I think that's just, people, you're watching guys like LeBron get old. You've got, some of these Steph Currys, the KDs of the world are starting to go. And it maybe, and, I do think the All-Star break has a lot to do with it, right? They've clearly got the worst, I mean, the basketball, the NBA, I mean, do you remember front office and I were like, should we, because last year, I think it was last year, or maybe it was this year, one of the 2 years, we were like, oh, All-Star weekend's on our birthday. And then we look, oh, it was last year. And at the moment we saw it was Indiana, I'm like, not a fucking, we were like, no.
Yeah,
You think I'm going to pay money to not only go see a dog shit and be, I mean, the weekend itself of the activities are going to suck, right? We're going because we're going to have a fun time. We're going together. It's going to be a good, it's going to be a good get together. I mean, we'll have fun. We'll watch the thing, but it's not like we're watching high class shit, right? We're not there watching just the best of the best playing competitive ball, and we're not going to Indianapolis to do it. So
no. It, like,
chance.
As soon as it was announced as and being Indianapolis, I think it, like, we didn't even consider it. Like, it wasn't even.
That Hawks game sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'd rather get it. Why don't you come down to the
South? Go see him spank the Hawks? Fuck it, dude.
Weekend. Fun story about that front office. Nick sent me the photo of you guys in the game, and this is before I was on the show, and he pointed out your face. So I still didn't know who you were. It was hilarious. I'm like,
yeah. The first time I ever saw that picture, I covered your face.
I appreciate you.
I was like, oh, there's Shantz. Now I know he does have a wife, and there's the person I have no fucking clue who he is.
I still can't see his face.
I know what his wife looks like.
I know what his significant other looks like. That's nice. Yeah, cool.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I wish I'm sure if I looked through Twitter I could find it like the photos that he sent, but it's just like, yeah, even the first time I seen you, it's like, well, you have a body, and you
Dude.
might have
And
been
what
in
a fun
Atlanta.
game that was. We watched
Oh,
them
dude.
rearrange the Atlanta Hawks.
Seriously.
Dude.
Didn't they win by like 30 or something like that?
Dude,
It was 20
bad.
or 30. At one point, I think we had a 40-point lead, and it was just all Don all day. And
Yeah. Like,
yeah,
we traveled there to watch the Cavs, and there were points in the game where we were just conversating. Like, we were just like,
right.
we're
And
watching
that's
a
not like us.
scrimmage.
You know what I'm saying? I know both of us, we go to a game. If it's close, our eyes
We're
are
in
on the
it.
game. We are watching. We might be discussing what's happening, but we are deeply involved in what is occurring in the game. And
Yeah.
we were just chatting.
We
Like,
were,
what's
like,
going on?
talking, and, like, we would corner eye the score every once
Yeah.
in a while. Be like,
Yeah.
oh, 35? Yeah, we're still good.
Yeah.
Reconnect time more important than game time.
Exactly.
Insane, dude. But yeah, it's super crazy though. Like I said, Lakers being sold today, absolutely insane. And yeah, the NBA again. I agree with you. I don't know if I agree that it's 100% dying or whatever. Like I think that sure it's got some problems right now, but I agree with you. In maybe in a 20-year span, I think it's going to have its ups and downs. And I think right now they're just in a kind of figuring out stage. Stars are getting old, and I think it's a passing of the guard.
When Michael Jordan left, they went through the same thing. They needed time for, then LeBron got drafted and things like, these, like, it's a cycle. So, I can guarantee you that in Canada, if you're not a Raptors fan, generically, of course, your next team, you're going to be cheering for Shea Gil-Alexander. You're going to be a Thunder guy. It's gonna just take some time because SGA is going to be great. He's probably going to be pretty soon a top 5 consistent player in the NBA. It's just he's not sexy yet.
Yeah, well, and I think part of it is too that those guys are the older guys are still there. Like it's not, like
Definitely.
I don't think people are going to accept the fact that they have to move on until LeBron's gone, until KD's gone, until some of these guys are like, you don't have a fucking choice but to watch some either, stop watching basketball or just find, and obviously people are going to find something else, find somebody else to watch, find a team or a player or somebody gets drafted. But yeah, I think that's just the problem. I think that a lot of people are just snarky about it and they don't want to accept the fact that LeBron's not in the finals, which again, I mean, you're talking to two of the biggest fucking bronze sexuals in the world. I mean, I would love to have LeBron James in the final draft. I'd love that.
Damn straight.
That'd be great. I'd love to see the Cavs in the finals or whatever, whatever. But it is, I mean, you can't just hate on this. I mean, we all three of us have talked when this series started. This series has been great. I mean, obviously there's been the two, last game the Thunder pulled away, and then that's game 2, I think, or whatever, when they blew them out. But other than that, like they've been in it, it's been neck and neck. At one point, the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Finals were tied 2-2 in all 4 games of, I think, what 3 of the what in the Stanley Cup, was it the first 3 or 4 games went to overtime?
Yep. Yeah.
So it's like you really couldn't ask for much more. You had 2 of the best finals going on at the same time, and and right now the Pacers, they're up 6. They were just up like 10. So, they're looking good right now. They forced a game 7. I mean, what else could you fucking ask for?
Yeah. I do think this is going 7, by the way. And also I feel bad for Edmonton. That is, dude.
Do you?
What a
I'm glad. I do too.
What a
I was rooting
segue.
for them, but I've talked to a couple Canadians that are like I know a couple of Canadians that were full blown rooting against them. Like they were like, fuck.
Why?
Like because they just think so. Edmonton, a lot of people in Canada apparently don't like Evander Kane.
Yeah, he's a slime ball.
Which I had to tell the person, I'm like, yeah, we don't like him here either. Like, I just think Evander Kane is just a not likable guy. But a lot of Canada, I think so. It was interesting. The main point, they said they don't like Connor McDavid because they said that he's a crybaby and all that stuff. Which again, the best players in most sports are crybabies, to be honest. They care about stuff,
it's true.
and they talked about Connor McDavid, not coming out for the MVP last year and all that stuff. They just said that they've kind of turned themselves into a hard team to root for.
There's a lot.
Whatever.
There's a lot of hate for Edmonton in this country too, because like they managed to get 4 first overall picks in 10 years. Like they had back to back first overall picks, and finally the 4th time they got Connor McDavid, and then they started to be good.
Yeah.
There's
So, I
a
mean, I
little bit
definitely
of
could see
that
it.
too. Like, yeah, it's.
I suppose I get that. I mean, I'm not as ingrained in hockey as you two are, but I look at it and I see, damn, you went to the finals twice or the cup twice, and you just couldn't get it done, and that to the same damn team. I mean,
The
come
same
on.
team, dude. And
So can
yeah,
I ask
I want
this?
them to win. I wanted them to win so bad.
What a great segue to our non-hockey ish fan. So, front office, have you ever been to Miami? Because I haven't asked that question in a while. Have you been to
Yes,
Miami?
I have been to Miami.
I'm sure it's beautiful. Is it beautiful?
Yeah, it is beautiful. It is hot and very
No
sticky.
way.
You know
It
what I mean?
seems very humid.
It is tropical. It is probably the most tropical place I've been to in the United States, besides like literally the very tip of Florida.
Fair enough.
Um, which it's close to the tip, but it's not quite there. I mean, there's not anything else. Like no other city in Florida is even close. I mean, Key West is. That's like paradise-esque. You know what I mean? Miami feels like it's like a damn swamp.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, good to know. Okay, so now the serious question. So, the Florida Panthers that play in Miami have now went to 3 Stanley Cup Finals and won 2. And with the salary cap that it is, can you start using the word dynasty in a salary cap era to our non-hockey friend?
That checks the boxes for me, dude. I mean, that's all I'm saying. Like, you went 3 times, you've won twice. Is this 3 years in a row that it has
3
been?
years in yes,
So they've gone to 3 in a row.
Oh,
But
this is a status right here. Yeah, you just achieved that this year. You went
Yeah.
3. You were the best team in your conference 3 years in a row, and you won twice.
And
That's
to add to that, so they lost to Vegas. They almost coughed up their 3-game to none lead last year, but won. And then this year, they decided to get hurt, and they were 3rd in their division. And like they went and beat Toronto in Game 7 in Toronto. Like they did it a little harder this time because they had a lot of injuries and had to gut through. Like they were never not going to make the playoffs, but they didn't have home ice advantage for any of their series.
damn. Yeah, no, I'd say you earned it. No, Florida.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah, but see, to me, they have to win the 3rd one. They just because of so we looked at this last week or last episode on Tuesday, and since 2010, there has been not so many, but there's been Chicago, L.A., Tampa. Not Vegas, right? Vegas didn't win.
No, Tampa won back-to-back.
Tampa won back-to-back. Chicago won back-to-back. Kings won back-to-back.
Yeah.
They all. I would venture to say that they all went to at least 2 or 3 in a row. Tampa Bay went to at least 3 in a row, didn't they? But I don't know. I just feel like we've seen this quite a bit. It's not like football where we never see it. So when the Chiefs got there, we that kind of, but it feels like in hockey every 5 years we get a team that is just clearly better than everybody else, and they're 3 Stanley Cups.
That is interesting that it's happened.
It is super crazy that we have had that any team can go 3 years in a row, but I think they got to win the 3rd because of how many teams have done this, and we got to remember we're in a sport where we have a team that's won 4 in a row.
I think the counter argument to it is how hard. So they're ending hockey at the end of June, and training camp is in the first week.
Oh yeah,
of September.
it is hands down the hardest trophy in North American sports.
And I know you and me totally agree with that.
Yeah, there's zero. I don't care what there is not a harder sport to win than the Stanley Cup's hardest trophy to win.
And then once you start Barkov was stupid hurt. Everybody's favorite rat, or not favorite rat, second favorite rat on that team. Matthew Tkachuk had a second degree.
Did you see
MCL
that
sprain? Yeah, he was. Oh no, that was Barkov.
Did you see what Matthew Tkachuk was playing with?
Yes, front office, you are going to love this. This is
Damn.
No,
brother. Matthew Tkachuk is.
Adductor rip.
So he totally tore his adductor muscle off the bone.
Oh,
and had a sports hernia throughout the whole finals. Played every game.
Damn, dude. And that is the marvel of modern medicine, folks. Right there.
he scored the overtime goal in Game 4.
Wow.
I think
The fact that he can even shoot the puck is actually impressive without an adductor muscle attached to
He
his
tore
arm.
it completely off the bone.
Like that's what makes this Florida team, like they're gonna be just.
Shout out to St. Louis, by the way. That's St. Louis tough right there, baby. Is what that is.
Yeah, straight up.
It's like I know I've said this one before, but Peter Forsberg tried to play a playoffs with a
Ruptured spleen, dude.
And
I'll
finally
never
the
forget that.
And he played the first and most of the second round before the doctor said, we can't put
You were gonna
out there
die.
anymore. You take
Yeah,
one
seriously.
puck, you take one slash or one cross check to there, you could die.
And then he was out for like a year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was out for a full entire
Like
year.
the full season after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll never forget that. That
Because
was so crazy.
I still remember. It's like, oh, why is Peter Forsberg out for Game 6? Oh, he's got a ruptured spleen. For the past month, he's been playing with a ruptured spleen. Okay, yeah, good job.
That's fucking crazy. And that was 15 years ago.
Hockey guys
Damn.
are a special kind of tough/dumb.
Yeah, so dude, shout out to that. And like you said, I'm obviously, as much as I want the Oilers to win, I've told you a million times, I have nothing wrong with. I have no problem with Florida. I love the Tkachuk boys. Obviously, I love Brad Marchand. I think he's the best rat of all time. I love that he went there, and I love that they were. I don't know if you saw any of the like they obviously were. They went back to the same place they got fucked up at after the last one last year, the same bar with the balcony. And the crowd this year was chanting, "Thank you, Boston," because of how they just gave them Brad Marchand for nothing. And then he ends up being like the best player in the playoffs for them besides Reinhart, who obviously 4 goals in game to clinch the Stanley Cup. I mean, your cock is huge, but 4 goals. But Brad Marchand, I mean, you just get handed him a career Leaf or a career Bruin. He's been a Bruin forever. He is just like basically the trademark Bruin. And this year they were like, all right, we're cutting costs. They just gave him up for nothing. And then he comes in. He has a little injury when he got there, heals up, comes in. He's been the best player for them in the playoffs. And it's like to see Florida chant, "Thank you, Boston," because fuck Boston. It just feels so good that they're like the butt end of everything. They just won a Stanley Cup and all they're thinking about is Bruins fans. And I love that. So shout out to them. That's so great. It's so fucking great. And shout out to the Florida Panthers. I'm with you. I mean, I think they're basically a dynasty. I'm with you. They're in the same conversation as all those other teams. Like they are in that conversation of like they are in like the great of the last 20 years. They're like in the greats of hockey, right? I mean, like but they just have to do what those other teams did. None of those other teams won the third one. And I think for them, if they go out and win a third Stanley Cup, I think they have now separated themselves from like they're in a group by themselves, in my opinion.
And they even did like that franchise, like Paul Maurice. You've heard me talk how much I love Paul Maurice. Front office, you know what they did? They got the Stanley Cup. They booed Gary Bettman because that's what you have to do when you win the Stanley Cup. And then Barkov, they take the photo, and the team decided that every player that had never won the Stanley Cup got to hoist it first. Like that is a class organized. They get it.
Yeah, wow, that actually is pretty awesome,
bro. Like and not only that, did you see Barkov went at 1:30 in the morning? He's back on the ice, letting all the staff touch it and shit like that.
Yeah, the staff is cleaning.
That's like, cool.
Yeah, he goes out to the ice at 1:30 in the morning. They're cleaning up the ice, they're doing everything. He takes the cup out to the ice, sets it down, and just lets everybody fuck with it. It's like.
And his flip-flops and his German and his Russian, and everybody's just having the time of their lives.
It's so fucking cool. I did see somebody cut their hand open pretty bad. I don't know who that was. Somebody got a slide. It might have been Reinhart or Barkov, one of them.
Yeah, one of them. They had to. His stitches blew open 3 times, and he was playing through it.
Damn.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. But dude, the team is so fun to watch, and obviously you've got fucking Bobrovsky and the fucking between the pipes. You're on the force, Bobrovsky.
You're back on the force, Bobrovsky. You're always on the force, Bobrovsky.
Yeah, he's earned he's captain now. He is. Well, what would be the lead of a police academy? Who's the leader of the police? Is it sergeant?
Sergeant? Yeah, probably sergeant.
Who fucking cares?
Or captain? I think captain.
You just don't understand why we're yelling Bobrovsky.
They abolish ice. Abolish ice. Anyway,
we'll send you a YouTube later.
Yeah, dude, shout out to Bobrovsky. But anyway, yeah, I'm with you, front office. I know, long-winded, about 20 minutes. I just talked about, but I'm with you. I wish the Oilers would have won. They haven't won the state of, or the country of Canada hasn't won dog shit since 1993, the year I was born, which was the Montreal Canadiens. So it wasn't even Edmonton back then. Edmonton hasn't won in,
I think 89 was the last time Edmonton.
89, and that was Gretzky, right?
Yep.
So.
Gretzky, yep.
Yeah, so I'm rooting for Canada. I know a lot of people don't like, dude, Jack, my buddy Jack. I was like, I think I'm rooting for Canada, or I'm rooting for Edmonton. He goes, bro, fuck Canada. He goes, I came into this world without seeing one. He goes, I want to go out of the world without seeing one. I was like, damn, you're cold hearted, dude. I'm like, but I
never not nothing.
I get it.
There is every Canadian team except Winnipeg, because it didn't come in. It was gone and then came back. Every Canadian team has been in the Stanley Cup Finals since 1993, and none of them have won it. Oh, no, the Leafs haven't. That's a lie. Everybody
Senators have been there? Yeah, I guess the Senators have been there.
Yeah, the Senators
yeah.
lost to rat-faced Corey Perry.
Was that Craig, when they had Craig, was that when they had the burglar, the Hamburglar in goal?
Oh, that was...
Craig Anderson?
Yeah,
was that his name? Or Craig...
Hamlin. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the Hamburglar.
Yeah, that was... Oh, God. Picking up fans, they called him the Hamburglar, and they threw...
McDonald's cheeseburgers at him because he looked like the Hamburglar from McDonald's. That's so fucking cool. What a cool nickname.
I forgot about that.
People were sneaking McDonald's fucking burgers into games and throwing them at him on the ice.
That is fucking cool.
I love it. That's what I'm saying. I mean, we got to get to Shedeur here, so we're going to here in a second. By the way, OKC down by 9.5 minutes left in the second. So I've got it up and watching. But fuck, what were we just talking about?
Hamburglar.
Shedeur. You were
hockey,
transitioning.
Dude. I love hockey.
Oh.
Like all the traditions of like throwing shit on the ice. It's such a cool thing that like obviously nobody's gonna like no sports. It's like the fighting, right? I mean, like it's such a nobody's gonna say, hey, we encourage you to bring stuff to the game and throw it on the ice. But also there's like 5 buildings in the NHL that aren't gonna throw you out for doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Detroit.
You can go to Detroit with a literal dead octopus and throw it on the ice. That's their thing. You sneak in a dead octopus in full size, like a straight up octopus, and you run down the stairs and you chuck it over the fucking ice, and the octopus just, and it's a thing. Like, who else do they have? What are the other? There's a couple other things that people throw on the. Let's see, NHL.
So the idea behind it, front office, is back in the original 6 days, you only needed 8 wins to win a Stanley Cup.
Oh.
So and then it turned into the Zamboni guy, and he starts fucking wheeling this thing around, and it's like, I got a dead octopus, like, woo, and the crowd goes wild. It's like,
yeah, I did not know that.
Weird.
So here are the 3 teams that do these. Okay, so you got Red Wings, right? Tradition started in 1952 when 2 Detroit store owners threw an octopus on the ice. It symbolizes the 8 wins needed, to win a Stanley Cup at the time. Florida Panthers, because they have the rat, because of
Scott Mellenby.
Blues legend Scott Mellenby. In 1995, he killed a rat in the locker room with his stick and then scored 2 goals with that stick that night. So ever since then, they have been throwing plastic rats on the ice.
So funny story, because I can remember this as a kid, because I'm like 11 years old. I remember Tom Barrasso hiding in his net as they're throwing these plastic rats on the ice. And I remember the Avalanche, Patrick Waugh, they swept him in 4 games. And Patrick Waugh was a fucking man, and he just stood on he got scored on, and he stood there, and he fucking was getting pelted with dead plastic rats, and he was just like, do. Like, I let in a goal, I deserve to take this rat in the face.
That's
like
so fucking
300.
cool. I just love
it. I had no idea.
So the third one is Nashville. They've got the catfish.
Yeah.
So inspired by the Red Wings, Predators fans throwing catfish onto the ice, especially during games against Detroit. So they really don't even have a reason. They just do it.
Just because.
They just do it because. So the other 2 are
That's not as cool.
No, not as cool. And it literally says inspired by the Red Wings. So fuck them. But yeah, the rat is super fucking cool because it has like a really cool meaning behind it. And then obviously the Detroit one is the most legendary one, the octopus. So see if I can find before we move on to Shedeur, because we are going to close out with Shedeur being a little Need for Speed racer, and then let's see if I can find Red Wings octopus. Let's see if I can find a video of this on Twitter.
Red Wings haven't been to the playoffs in like 10 years, so we haven't got to see it in forever.
Yeah, they don't get to do it much anymore. Fuck, wrong one. So this is in 2020. This is 2022.
Oh,
That's fucking cool.
Nobody's even batting an eye. They're all like, yeah!
Yeah, this is normal.
Imagine sneaking that thing in, dude.
Imagine sneaking it in and them not winning. Do you still throw it?
I mean,
good question.
How many people do you think have had to leave with the same octopus that they snuck in?
It's not zero.
Years?
I know that.
It's not zero.
No, that is factual. Like, I wonder how much it costs for a dead octopus in Detroit.
Do you just walk out and throw it in the trash? Like, do you think there are people, like the people that work in that building are pissed when that, like, they have to check trash cans for dead octopus at the end of the night just in case somebody's like, well, I'm not taking this home.
Surely, yeah. No, they've definitely found more than one.
I totally agree.
And while we're on the subject, I'm going to tell this story because it just happened. But last weekend while I was in San Francisco, or 2 weekends ago, whenever I was in San Francisco, when we left, I'm pretty sure I have pre-diabetes because some of my pisses nowadays are they're emergencies, right? Like they come and they're happening. And I had been holding a piss for that in that show for since the second song. But then it went away at the end, right? I'm like, okay, I've been holding it for so long. We're like, whatever. So we walk 2 blocks to our parking garage. The parking garage we're in is one of those things where you don't pay at the fucking thing when you pull out. You have to go up to one of the little kiosks that are in the parking garage and pay. And then when you scan it, it says you've paid, it's a little QR code. Well, anyway, the level we were on didn't have one. And I was like, well, now I have to piss really bad. And I remember this parking garage is because in San Francisco, every goddamn thing is built on each other. So this parking garage is basically just the bottom half of a business, of a business building. So when you go up to the lobby, you go out, you come out in this big lobby of it looks like a business. There's a little restaurant there. You walk into any big attorney's office, there's a Starbucks and shit going on in the, in the lobby. I get up there and I'm like, okay, I remember there were bathrooms here earlier, so at least I can piss, right? And I'm doing the piss dance. I'm shaking my leg. I'm like, I'm about to piss myself. I get upstairs, dude. And it's I'm like, oh, okay. And I don't know if you guys obviously don't have these emergency pisses, I would assume. But when they happen, when you get to the bathroom, it's your body's you've made it. You know what I'm saying? So I am so confident that I am about to be able to piss. I get to that door and I pull it and it's locked.
No.
Brother, I turned around in that lobby. I pushed the metal trash can lid open and I pissed so hard into that trash can, dude.
Oh, dude.
Bro, Shan was hiding in the fucking elevator because you could hear a guy. I'm outside of a door. You could hear his security radio through the door. He's actively talking on his security. And you could hear my piss just mainlining, hitting the side of this metal trash can on the inside, dude. And it was like a piss, it was you've been holding it. So it's a 90-second piss, dude. So bro, I'm sitting there and she's like, hurry up. This guy is going to come out. If he would have opened the door, we would have been in eye contact with each other. My dick is inside this metal trash can, right? And luckily I finished it. And for a day and a half, I couldn't stop telling Shan how bad I felt that somebody went to change that trash can the next day. And they're like, dude, who pissed in this thing?
You ruined it, dude.
Who came into this office lobby and who found time to piss here? You know what I'm saying? Oh, fuck, dude. I totally forgot about it till we just talked about throwing octopuses in the trash can. I'm like, dude, that poor soul. And like I'm telling you, I was so worried because like this guy's like literally security radioing on the other side. But it was top 5 most nerve wracking peas I've ever taken in my life. So now you know.
Damn, dude. Actually, I can totally believe that.
I was in
can
San
believe
Francisco, dude, and you know I've worked in customer service a lot in my life. Like I'm not the kind of guy, like I'm not pissing in somebody in trash can in St. Louis. Like I'm not doing it because I know that people have to do that. But it was one of those things where like it was legit. I was either pissing myself right there in that thing, or somebody just had to. Didn't piss on the floor. You know what I'm saying? At least I pissed into a contained area.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not much better. I hear your reluctance. You didn't come out and say, "Well, that's a lot better." You thought about it, but it could have been worse.
Oh, dude, that's a good one.
That is. If it could be clip worthy, that is clip worthy.
I'll clip it. Maybe I'll clip it.
That's
but
clip
again,
worthy.
this is also a city where they shit in the street, so it is totally normal. Literally, with it from the 2 block walk from that parking garage to the line, there were 2 piles of human shit. So
100%. Now that is not surprising at all.
And honestly, what would you rather do? Would you rather just change a bag, a little pee bag, right? That's got a little bag of trash, that's got some piss in it, or would you rather scrape human shit off the sidewalk? Could be worse. And then sanitize it. They have to sanitize those afterwards. So, all right. Well, enough about me pissing, right? So 41-33, 7 minutes left in the game, first half. Let's get to Shedeur. Front office, you hear about this?
Yeah, dude.
Did you hear about the second part?
The one like he got pulled over like a couple weeks before this or something,
and then
on the
failed to
6th.
appear at his court date.
Don't give a fuck. Do you give a fuck? Tell me right now. You give a fuck. Tell me right now.
Okay,
look me in the eye. Tell me you
care
give a fuck.
about this. No, but I care. I'm just worried that the Browns being the. Here's my thing. I think the Brown. I don't care what he could shoot somebody tomorrow. I don't care. Starting week 1, I have that much confidence in him.
Oh, you're saying from a perspective of the organization.
Browns to me are such a bad organization that they would be the organization to be like, well, we were just looking for. He's so good, but we were looking for a reason to cut him, and then he gave us one, right? Like. And I'm not going to say here on Twitter, I will do very drastic things if we let go of him and then he goes and turns into a superstar somewhere while we have Dylan Gabriel. I might do something drastic. So I don't care about this. I'm just worried about like, I just don't want it to be turned and like them to use this, but I don't really care. Honestly, I don't, it's a kind of a scary, it does worry me a little where it's like, okay, you're a 4th round pick. Or a 5th round pick, you're the 4th guy on the draft. You know, they're you can't fuck up right now.
Yeah, and I think it's really more about the not appearing thing. That is kind of a big deal, but
that's the one. That's the only part here I think that I'm worried about is the failure to appear in court.
Agree.
But you know what? If he was at practice, you know what? If I'm like legitimately like the staff, like if it was, he had practice when he was supposed to appear, you made the right decision. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe not for him personally, but all good.
This man skipped a court date to take extra practice reps. I love it.
Yeah, right. Okay with me.
Fuck him, dude. And I'm with you, dude. I mean, like,
and he probably did. To be honest with you, I'm sure that's why he. Well, I don't know if that's why he wasn't there, but it 100% at the very least is he, was probably at the center or something. I'm sure it was a morning appointment, and I'm sure it was during a weekday. He probably had mini camp or something going on.
And from what I understand, I've seen the screenshot a few times. I'm almost positive somebody said he has joined Elite Company, and I'm pretty sure LeBron got pulled over back in the day driving.
That's correct. They were both 23, and they were both going 101. I don't know if it was in the same place, but and let's not forget, and other Brown superstar has a knack for speeding as well and flipping cars. Let's not forget that.
Oh, you're talking about Big Myles Garrett, huh?
That's right. That's right.
Boy, he sure does.
Face of the franchise, dude. Face of the franchise.
I'm not 100% convinced that Myles didn't say, Shedeur, get in that car and do that. Go drive 101. Do it.
Yeah, you want to be great. You want to be great. You have to wreck a car.
The first step is a car accident.
Yeah. And how fucked up is it that the only difference really between there's a couple other differences, but one of the main differences between that and what happened to Henry Ruggs is that Henry Ruggs ran over a pregnant lady.
Yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because we did. Okay, well, so I guess fuck. I mean,
Sorry, no.
we're already
Fucking
we're already at 8:30. We're already good. So is there really much? Okay, so Shedeur, do you have anything you want to say about it, Dale?
Yeah, maybe you should have told the team that you had a court date. I'm pretty sure they would have
Yeah, I mean,
not
yeah.
been happy, but they would have understood, and you just make some excuse that he's gone for the day. Just own up to what you fucked up and move on.
Well, it's saying here too. He only has a $250 fine, or he has to fight the ticket on July 3rd. So I assume he's just going to pay.
Yeah, a $250 for him is nothing. It's literally nothing.
He remained in Cleveland along with other rookies, so he's still there doing his thing. It's Cleveland, you do 101, so you don't have to see that ugly brother. You're pissing me off, okay? You already did the Browns massage thing, which he's alleged, okay? Tony Busby, the same guy that tried to sue him. You should have Tony Busby pick up a court case in New York. Well, he can't because he can't practice law in New York anymore because he's such a scummy fuck. And New York has Cleveland last year, I'm pretty sure had a top 5 rated skyline, so get fucked.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
It's a beautiful skyline. You just got to find people.
It is
people
a nice
hate
skyline.
on Cleveland until you go there. You just got to go to Cleveland. Don't go there in the winter. Go there during the summer, and you'll love it.
Yeah, and stay downtown.
Stay downtown. The food is great in Cleveland. The food, like everything, is fun. I mean, Cleveland doesn't have like a signature food or anything, but the food places are good. It's a fun time. It's a fun.
Yeah, there's cool attractions that are very kind of oriented to particular audiences, but those audiences love it. You know what I'm saying? Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's a NASA place there that I've been to that I really like. Actually have an old Apollo test moon lander that's really cool to see.
Oh, cool.
Fun fact.
Yeah, dude, Cleveland's a very fun town. I don't appreciate the hate. Okay, go to Cleveland and then we'll talk. But it was a fun joke. Joakim Noah started it, Nick. Yeah,
fuck you.
Yeah, so he's a fucking Noah. He's a Bulls fan.
Oh well, still fuck Joakim Noah,
dude. Every time he's like Cleveland, yeah, that lives in my mind. Joakim Noah, but is Joakim Noah an NBA champion? I don't know. Cleveland's a champion, so yeah. Let's look actually before we get into that. Well, while I'm looking this up. We did talk about Joakim Noah, or not. We didn't talk about Joakim Noah. We did talk about Henry Ruggs earlier, and I do want to ask you: 2-time NBA All-Star, defensive player.
That's a big fat negative, baby.
That's a nope. Yeah, two-time NCAA champion. They don't give a fuck about that. Yeah, 2-time NBA All-Star. I'd go see Rock and Hall of Fame. It's a great place. Hall of Fame is fucking sick. Let's see what else there are. Cleveland attractions.
Oh, and the house.
Hall of Fame, the Museum of Art, West Side Park is cool. Yeah, you can go see the house from the Christmas Story. That house is there. Trent Reznor lived there. I know that. Yeah, just go downtown. They got the Cleveland History Center. The Jack Casino is fun. I don't gamble, but they got that Museum of Contemporary Arts. It's like that big ass, like shiny building. It's pretty fun. But yeah, I mean, but the Rock and Hall of Fame is fun as fuck. I mean, people are listening to this going, that doesn't sound fun. Just go to Cleveland, goddammit.
See a game, guys. Be downtown. They got nice little bars right there.
Dude, give it a couple years. You can go to Cleveland, then drive 20 minutes to Brook Park and sit in the best fucking dome in the NFL.
There you go.
That's what it is. All right, back to Henry Ruggs. So Henry Ruggs, I assume you saw he was out of prison for the thing this weekend, right? He was like
yes.
He gave his conversation, he gave his talk, which I thought was cool. I think it's cool that he's doing that. I think it's cool they're letting him do that. I think that's a neat thing. My thing is, do you think, because I asked him, do you want to play do you think you're going to play in the NFL again? Do you want to play in the NFL? He said, absolutely, yes, blah, blah, blah. My question to you is, do you think we ever see Henry Ruggs play in the NFL again? And if we do, if your answer is yes, give me a team that, and I think the Browns would be one, but give me a team, maybe not outside, maybe not the Browns, that would sign Henry Ruggs.
You, Dale, you go for when does he get out?
Dale and I have already had this conversation.
Earlier,
so this is you.
So when does he get out, or when could he get out?
I believe within a year, sometime this year.
And
next year. He just turned 26 in January. We just looked this up too. 26, right? Was it
26? Yeah.
Oh, bet. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, he's coming back for sure. I definitely think he's going to play. Although I don't actually think we've had a murderer come back into the league before. That is interesting. I mean, we definitely had murderers in the league. Hashtag Ray Rice. Hashtag Ray Lewis.
Yeah. Well, Ray Rice, he never came back after beating that chick up in the elevator. So that was
I guess she didn't die.
I'm with you that I think he is. We didn't have a murderer. That was so I had the same conversation or same words as you because it's like obviously his crime is the worst out of pretty much anybody's, but unlike Ray Rice, who didn't come back, and some of the other guys that didn't get to come back, they also didn't really pay a price, right? They just kind of like they got blown up in the media for it, but there really was no consequences for it. So like their consequence was not playing in the NFL anymore.
Yeah, and Vic came back. Look, Vic gave his time.
That's exactly what I said. If you would have told me that when Michael Vick went to prison, if you would have told me Michael Vick's going to go to prison for dog fighting, he's going to come out, he's going to play in the NFL again. Not only play in the NFL again, he's going to be NFL Comeback Player of the Year, damn near MVP that first year. And he's gonna, he's gonna be like a revel, like he's gonna be loved again. I just told you you're fucking crazy. I think there's no way, and he did it. He did all of that. So yeah. I think that,
and that's talent, right? That's why he was able to do that. I think if Henry Ruggs comes out and he runs a 4.3 40 again, which I believe he did. I mean, one of the fastest players in the league in the time, his unfortunate, screw up was. There's no doubt some team's going to at least put him on a track and see if he still got it. You know what I mean? He might never be a game changer anymore. I don't know how well he's kept up as far as like working out and, I don't know if he can do agility drills, but if he's still got top end speed, he's still running 4.3. He doesn't mind, taking a shot and still catches a deep ball. There's a Deshaun Jackson role out there for everybody.
I'm with you, dude. And like I said, this guy has paid his dues. I mean, I understand that the crime he did was awful, right? I mean, there's really no forgiving that. But again, I am a firm believer in if you go to prison, dude, and you do your time, like I don't think like I am so against, having to put you're a felon on job applications. Like I don't think you should have to do that. Like I think that I don't think it should be that hard to get out of prison and make a life for yourself. I think we make it impossible for people to do that. And I think it's the main reason. So I mean, again, we talked about all this when we were doing Chef. We're not going to get, but it's one of those things where it's like, I think that they're put into a cycle that's so hard to get out of because when they get out, it's so impossible for them to make anything happen for themselves because they don't get, nobody wants to hire them. They have to tell everybody they're fucking felons. They have to get into this. They have to get into that. It's just such a fucking impossible.
Yeah, it's tough.
They're going to go back to what they know best, commit crimes, do things to make money, and end up. It's a cycle that you just can't get out of. And I think that, but so if you go to prison and you do your time, I think you should come out and I think you should be able to go back. You're 27 years old. You're in your athletic prime. You're a first round draft pick. I think you should get a chance to get to play in the NFL, and I think you will. I'm with you. I think you will, and I like what Under's saying. Titans or Giants? Titans for sure. I can close my eyes and picture him catching balls from Cam Ward.
Yeah, I do think there's there's going to be some issues probably with salary and getting paid in that first year out. I mean, I know he has to have certain types of jobs that have a stable paycheck, and I don't know if a contract-based thing like that would allow him, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if that would count. I mean, I'm being serious. I don't know how employment works in the NFL versus being just a player contracted to play. You know what I'm saying? But I'm sure somebody can figure that out. If that is really the thing that's stopping it, I don't think that will be, the only thing. Mike McDaniels is progressive. He vapes on the side.
Well, let me tell you right here. So this is great. So what do you think Mike Vick's deal was coming out of prison? Because I totally forgot, and I just looked at it.
Maybe like $700,000 and incentive later the fuck out of it. Obviously, I'm wrong. Those eyes say you should go over front office.
Wait, say that one more time.
I said his contract was $700,000, and Nick's eyes make me think I'm totally wrong.
And this is
Mike Vick's contract right out of prison.
$3 million.
6 years, 100 million, 40 million
Jesus.
guaranteed.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay.
40 million guaranteed. 6 year, $100 million right out of prison.
Jesus.
That's crazy. So, yeah, maybe. Yeah, so he signed in 2005. He signed 130 million, 10 years, 130 million dollars. But he lost all that. Obviously, he went to jail. After jail, comes out, signs 6 years, 100 million, 40 million guaranteed. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? Or 36 million guaranteed. But who knows? I mean, obviously Henry Ruggs was not Michael Vick before prison either, right? I mean, Michael Vick
Yeah,
before
yeah,
he went
yeah.
to prison was fucking.
We had a couple good flashes, but we weren't, star in the NFL as a main, at the most important position.
Like Michael Vick was already a Pro Bowler, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Michael Vick was already one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he was the most unstoppable Madden player in the history of Madden. So,
And it was a felony, and it wasn't murder though.
And again, I know we're getting really at 140 here, and I'm just pushing time, but I this is an interesting conversation, and I do want to know: do you think? Okay, I mean, I don't know. The way I was describing Henry Ruggs earlier was like, okay, do you think that for Michael Vick, like, do you think that there's an aspect of it where, at the time and like even like since that people, again, there's nothing right about what Michael Vick did, right? Everything there's no forgiving that. There's no right about that. But do you think there was a little bit of consideration, right, on how normal this was to a guy that grew up in the area that he grew up in? It was so normal in the area that he grew up in. It was something he grew up around. He lived his whole life around, saw his whole life, that Michael Vick didn't really comprehend that fighting dog to him. It was just something they did. It wasn't something that was, obviously to the normal person, we know how bad that is and everything, but this is to a guy that maybe didn't comprehend how bad what he was doing what actually was. Henry Ruggs, right? He's doing something that there is
no comparison.
There's no comparison.
You're totally right. There is no comparison. Somebody can argue that what Michael Vick did wasn't bad at some region of the world. There is nobody on the face of this earth in their right mind that can argue what Henry Ruggs did was any way forgivable or okay. That is just out of the argument. Not only did you kill somebody, but you killed, two people in the eyes of some, and that's,
dog. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I agree 100%.
No way.
I was just thinking, I was like, I just remember that conversation being thrown around when Michael Vick was going through that. I remember a lot of Michael Vick supporters were like, well, do you know where he grew up? Like, do you understand that, like, as right, this isn't correct, and this is not a right thing to do. But if you grew up and through your entire adolescence, you saw people fighting dogs and nobody was getting in trouble for it. And then now you're rich and famous and you got all this stuff and people are, you're hanging around, Michael Vick's one of those guys who was hanging around the same people. And these people are now fighting dogs. And again, we all remember Michael Vick wasn't even at least in the case, never even went to jail for fighting dogs. He went to jail for allowing people to fight dogs. So it was like he never even like in the eyes of the law, personally were fighting dogs. He just was owning properties, and obviously he was watching these dog fights and we're not stupid, but he was just more or less allowing this to go on under his supervision and encouraging it. So it's like, I think that, like, yeah, I mean, I just remember that being such a talking point when he was going through all that, that it's like, I think you kind of guys have to give that a little bit of thought. But right, Henry Ruggs, there's no corner of the world, there's no state, there's no part of the United States, there's no part of the world where they're like, yeah, drunk driving kills somebody. Fuck yeah, we love that shit. Besides maybe Boston, but that's whatever.
And even then,
you're just a piece of shit Bostonian. He says, good point for an officer saying they'd pay him by the week. Yeah, I mean, it'd be different. We'll have to wait.
But that will not be the thing that keeps them out of the league. They will find a way.
100%. So you're on the yes. I'm on the yes. Dale, you said you didn't know, right?
I'm still working towards the yes.
And he also said he thinks he could see himself going back to the Raiders because he didn't leave them on bad terms. It was just jail. But I don't think that's going to happen. By the way, halftime, before we close everything down here, Pacers up 22 at half.
Wow.
Whoa.
64-42.
Missed that Pacers money line bet. Ugh. Now what?
Siakam's got 13. Nemhard's got 10. Halliburton's got 12. So 4 of 9, 3 of 5 so his shot's back. So
there you go.
All right, fellas. Well, before we close everything down, you guys got anything else you guys want to say? For obviously you're a little later than everybody. Do you want to?
Just
anything about
appreciate you guys doing this. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Glad I could come on, drop some knowledge, talk it out. Browns fans, don't be worried. Shedeur Sanders, day one starter is coming. Okay, it's going to happen. It might be bad, but we're going to live through it as we always have and continue on.
I love it. Guardians fans, just strap in. It's going to get better. We promise.
Hope so.
Guess
Hope
what,
so.
Dick?
What?
If the Pacers are up by 22, that means I'm watching Elks and Alouettes with the phone keeping track of the other.
Yeah, Dale's going to go watch CFL after this.
God
So.
damn it.
All right, fellas. Well, you guys have. Thank you guys so much to everybody. Tanner, Under, obviously Ray, love you, big dog. Appreciate everybody that stopped by. Cody, Drew Code Sports earlier. Appreciate him stopping by for a few minutes. That was awesome. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go watch Drew Code Sports. Cody and the boys over there doing great. And like I said, they've got this new show. They just recruited a bunch of other friends or guys, and now they're doing it. It's called the AFC West War Room, and he's one guy. 4 guys, each one takes a team. They're already their favorite team, so they just decided to make a podcast and cover the AFC West. So that's a good show. And then obviously Drew Code Sports. Make sure you guys go follow them. Great guys over there. Of course, we take the unders. Go follow them on Instagram, Sports Lab, the Collab Lab, all them boys on Instagram. So, all right, guys, really appreciate you. Scan that QR code. Follow us on all the socials as well. If you're on YouTube, please hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell if you think we're worthy of it. If not, just hit the like button because that really helps us. You don't do anything else. Just hit the fucking like button. It takes 2 seconds. If you're on X, make sure you guys give us a follow, share the stream, hop in the comments. We're always talking shit in the comments. So talk shit with us on Twitter. But other than that, we'll be back on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Have a great rest of your. Have a great Friday. Stay cool if you're in the Midwest. It's hotter than dick right now in the Midwest. It's gonna be like 100 tomorrow. So make sure you guys are staying cool. Ray posted a picture earlier. It's 111 degrees in Arizona where he's at right now. So
gross.
Stay inside, stay cool, stay hydrated. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Thank you guys so much. Join us on Action Network, by the way. Daily Derelict, 3 to 5 sports bets every single day. All right, guys. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Appreciate you guys. Daily Derelict Sports.
Drunken intellect, got change in my pocket, $1.50 at best. Let it go.